I got one more thing to say before we go. And like I said, Brian is not responsible. I don't think after what I've just heard, he's mentally responsible. But Brian's not responsible for this. The podcast, MLW, all the places you download your podcast, they're not responsible. But the Table for Three, as I mentioned, was the second most watched WWE Network show of the week, behind only the pay-per-view. And one of the things, and boy, if you think he went crazy, you should have seen the unedited version because we spent more time on him. But old shitstain, the Archbishop of Talonberry, Vince Russo, went crazy. He just couldn't, and see, the reason why he went crazy is not only did Bischoff and I, once again on worldwide television, tell everybody what a fucking moron he was, but the WWE, the company that he begs and pleads to have a job with again, begs to bring him back and constantly emailing Vince McMahon and constantly contacting him saying, oh, Vince, I can save you. Oh, Vince, I can save you. They took that opportunity as soon as we mentioned his name to put up non-flattering pictures of his fucking ugly ass. So Russo went crazy and he was on again making all these comments and all these well, they ought to say it to my face. They ought to say it to my face because that's every time that I speak about Vince Russo, he's always trying to deflect my comments or tell people that it's my shtick and I don't really mean it. I just say stuff like that because I make money off of it. And I've said that I don't make money off knocking Vince Russo. It's my hobby. I do it for enjoyment. I make a lot of money, which is more than I can say for that unemployed fucking loser. And then he tried to say, well, I just can't believe it. He can't be telling the truth because I can't believe anybody would hate somebody like that just over wrestling. Because that's what Vince Russo thinks about the wrestling business. It's just a joke. Just like these jock-sniffing wannabes that do play wrestling. He can't believe anybody would hate somebody that bad over just wrestling. Because he doesn't take it seriously and he never has. And he's part of the reason why that this business is in the shit shape it's in. And then finally, when all that didn't work, then he kept trying to get me on his show. Or worse yet, get him on my show to debate. Like we could talk this out. Like I've actually come out and said, I want him to die. If I could get away with murdering him and not go to jail, I would. I hate him worse than anything that has ever walked on this planet. The thought of him breathing disgusts me. But yet I'm going to debate him face to face. Come on my show and tell me this to my face instead of behind my back. Everything that I have said is not only on worldwide internet, but is on worldwide YouTube, has been put on video for posterity forever. Nothing's been behind his back, but he wants me to come and face him face to face on Skype, on his show, because he's an attention whore. And he's desperate because he's a failure in life, because he's toxic in this industry, because no reputable promotion will hire him. Because he's already put everybody out of business. The last one that did, that fucking goofy fucking douchebag Dixie Carter, had to keep it secret that she was paying him because her TV network would cancel her, which they did, and a lot of her top talent would jump ship, which they did, if they found out that she had anything to do with that miserable sack of snake feces. So he wants me to come on his show face to face. And then he said things like, well, I don't have any balls. Cornette doesn't have any balls. Why don't you grow a set? Because you won't say this to me face to face. So here we've got a sad, desperate, unemployed, mentally unstable goof that had to move from Colorado to Evansville, Indiana, where his wife's family is from. That's his wife's hometown. And apparently he lives in his in-laws' basement, I guess. Maybe that's why it strikes such a nerve. When he talks about the internet marks and the website journalists like Dave Meltzer and Mike Johnson that live in their parents' basement, or maybe it's because they're not only the ones that accuse him of being a liar and a fraud, but they prove it time and time again. But Vince Russo has said, I'm a coward. I'm not a man unless I will say these things to his face. Like we can somehow debate this out and all walk off and be friends into the sunset. Well, he said anytime, anywhere. Well, Vince, I got an offer for you, Vince Russo, and I want all your little stooges to listen real close, and I want them to tell you. I want them to play this for you because I want you to hear it. You say you want to meet me face to face, and you want me to say all these things to you in person instead of behind your back. Well, we ain't going to do it on a podcast. We ain't going to have a debate. Here's the deal. You send me a date and a time and an address. And it doesn't have to be your home address, because I know you don't want me to know where you live, because you probably do live in your in-laws' basement since you're an unemployed failure and you're toxic and nobody wants to have anything to do with you. And every wrestling promoter, every great wrestling veteran of the last 20 years that's ever drawn any money has nothing but bad things to say about you. Bret Hart said you ought to be hung in a parking lot. I know you don't want me to know where you live, so send me a date and a time and a neutral address, and I'll come to you. You don't have to come to me. You're in Evansville now. It's not that far away. I'll come to you, because I know you don't have money for gas, Vince, being as you're in such a miserable state and you're living on food stamps. Your wife's probably ready to divorce you because you haven't had a job and been employed in years. So send me a date, a time, and an address. I'll come to you. Make it a public park, maybe somewhere out of the way, somewhere where there won't be too many people to intervene. And you know how to get a hold of me. My email is jimcornette@jimcornette.com, or elsewise, you know how to get a hold of Bolin, obviously. He has my phone number. Your best friend and Christian buddy, Terry Taylor, he's got my phone number. I'm not going to be hard for you to contact, Vince. You don't even have to talk to me. You can just leave it on my machine or send me the email. But here's the rules. No cops, no guns, and no knives, and we both come alone. And what happens, happens. Nobody makes a dime off of it. Nobody gets any publicity off of it. Nobody's ever going to know that it's even going to happen until after it happens, when nobody hears from you anymore. And because you're broke and you're unemployed, and you probably don't know where your next fucking meal is coming from, and you can't provide for your family, and I bet you can't even get your dick hard anymore, Vince, because you can't provide for your family and you don't feel like a man, because you're one of those Christian lunatics that thinks Hillary Clinton shouldn't have been president because woman was made from man's rib. So it must really give you erectile dysfunction, you fucking piece of shit, that you can't provide for your family and you're a failure and you're a laughing stock. So not only will I come to you, not only will I meet you in a neutral location with no cops, no guns, no knives, just the two of us, but I'm going to have $5,000 in cash with me, because I got that, Vince, unlike you. You don't have to bring anything. You don't even have to bring a ham sandwich. I'm going to have $5,000 in cash with me, and you can have it if you can take it away from me. So what do I got to do? You fucking fraud, you gutless coward. Do I have to call your wife a crack whore? Do I have to say your mother sucked dicks for dimes and dive bars? Do I have to tell you that your father gave government secrets to the Nazis? Just let me know, Vince. Let this gutless coward right here know where I got to fucking meet you. Time, date, and address. And I'm bringing $5,000. And all you got to do is take it away from me. But there ain't going to be no talking. There ain't going to be no debating. I'm going to do what the fuck I've wanted to do almost since the first day I met your miserable ass. And you know it's true. You know it's true because you've talked to Bolin, and he knows exactly what I want to do to you and exactly how bad I hate you. And I'm not saying I'm a badass. I'm not saying I can whip Chael Sonnen. I'm not even saying I can whip a grown adult man, because I'm old. I got a lot of energies. But you never been in a fight, gutless pussy. I can whip you. Besides, it's not even going to be hand to hand, because I said no guns, no knives, but I got a bat. I could find a stick. I don't give a fuck. I've wanted to do this for a long time. So you want to make challenges about going on people's podcasts and giving the money to charity and all this other stuff, because you know that ain't going to happen, because we got nothing to talk about. But I'm making you a legitimate offer. I swear on my mother's grave, if you give me a date, a time, and an address, I will meet you there, and I will bring $5,000 in cash, as long as the rules are no cops, no guns, and no knives. And what happens, happens. And if you don't fucking take me up on that, you piece of shit, then shut your fucking dick licker from now on, because I'm sick and fucking fed up with you, and everybody else is too. You've been found out. Nobody believes in you anymore. Everybody knows what you're all about. You've stabbed everybody in the back you've ever worked with. You've killed guys' careers with your goofy gimmicks. You've made the wrestling business a fucking joke with your fucking ADD goddamn booking and your Jerry Springer show horse shit. And most of all, you're a piece of fucking shit, and I will prove it. Send me the date, the time, and the place, or shut the fuck up.